You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. Taken to the road. I am down in Florida, and I am not far from Crispy Bacon. Good friend of the show. Anyways, I came down here, and guess what? It looks like the eye of the hurricane, according to all local news report, is going to just smash into the coast right where I'm at. So I couldn't be in a better place to be of assistance, to help, to just be here, period, to help friends. I've already been helping people get prepared, and I've already had my ass kicked a little bit. It's like any other thing, you can be the world's greatest fighter. You get into a fight, you're going to get your ass kicked. It's going to hurt when you're done. So this is going to be an interesting broadcast. I'm not going to do a whole lot of Q&A because I'm fucking beat tired. I need to get some sleep. Apparently the rain starts first thing in the morning, and then the hurricane, the big part, shows up the next morning. But it gets warmed up, and then it's full strength, I guess, and then it blows on. Now, I've been around a few hurricanes, but apparently this one is going to be, while it's offshore, Category 4 is the prediction. 4 out of 5 dentists prefer Trident. 4 out of 5 on the category scale is pretty nasty. So what I'm going to try and do is my usual job from the safety of the mobile studio. And if I can, I'll get out in the weather and do my best Jim Cantori and show you guys what it looks like when a hurricane meets an immovable object. All right, so let's do this. Let's get into what the hell is going on out there, right? The moron, Representative Democrat Rashida Tlaib, went bonkers when Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, gave her a little schooling on energy policy. Now, I'm no big lover of Jamie Dimon, but when it comes to basic economic principles and practices, he knows what he's talking about. Certainly hands and head higher than the idiot Rashida Tlaib, one of the angry jihad squad up in D.C. Now, she tried going after Jamie Dimon and asked if they had a policy against funding new oil and gas products, right? Because that's what they want. All the bank executives, they should have a policy against funding new oil and gas products. And Dimon said, oh, absolutely not. And that would be the road to hell for America. And so Tlaib went bonkers on him, said, you know what? Everybody got that. They got released from student loans that have a bank account with your bank should probably take out their account and close their account, right? And there was not a single bank CEO that agreed with Rashida Tlaib, or whatever the hell her name is, that they should stop financing fossil energy or big oil, right? It's ridiculous. She said this to Jamie Dimon. I'm not going to ask you, Mr. Dimon, because you obviously don't care about working class people in frontline communities like ours that are facing huge amounts of high rates of asthma, respiratory issues, and so much more. Right? Cancer rates are so high among my communities that I represent. So I'm not going to ask if you're committing to ending the financing of new oil and gas projects. If we don't have oil, natural gas, coal, while they figure out how to properly replace it, guess what happens? All these people that she's worried about getting cancer freeze to fucking death instead. Instead of living another 30, 40, 50, 60 years before they die of cancer, they get to die the next winter from fucking exposure, being too cold. But she's too damn stupid, folks. Too damn stupid. And the media blackout continues over the left-wing radical murdering idiot who ran down the 18-year-old because he had political views. And a little research has demonstrated that, no, he wasn't a radical right-winger. Unbelievable, folks. Now, Democrats are starting to panic, folks, as we are about 1 month away, just over 1 month away from the midterm elections, right? And even in Democrat strongholds like the state of Oregon, their Republican gubernatorial candidate is starting to rise in the polls and is going to challenge that little smarmy, bookworm-looking librarian bitch they have for a governor there, Brown. Unbelievable what's going on. Now, a lot of people say the FBI is full of crooked agents. Well, apparently there's at least one good FBI agent. His name is Steve Friend, and he's gone public, folks, exposing FBI lies and attacks on conservative Americans. Well, that's the whistleblower's name, folks. One good cop out of how many thousands? Well, the FBI is a disgusting, politicized, Nazi-type Gestapo organization, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it, folks. These Democrats, they're killing our economy, they're killing our energy, they're killing our food. Folks, they're even killing themselves. Data from Zillow.com shows that home prices in Democrat areas are dumping while Republican areas are rising in value. It's because people are moving to them. And you can guess whether it's north, south, east, or west and where this is all happening at. Unbelievable. And Ron H., you are welcome for the shout out and seeing if we can get people over and take a look. Folks, it's networking. Social media networking is a big, big deal. Now, we need to help each other, find each other, help people who aren't awake get prepared and find all of us who are talking about it and understand truly the terror that we're living under now. More whistleblowers. Is it treason, folks, when people say Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were working to sell our oil and gas assets to China? Even if we have whistleblowers, do you think the media is going to care? Do you think Congress is going to care? It's treason, yes, but who cares? Right? That's kind of the attitude we're getting. We need to understand, folks. We need to understand we've got a lot bigger fish to fry than just a little bit of treason, right? Unbelievable, folks. And Bill Gates, creepy Bill Gates, friend of Jeffrey Epstein, the pedophile master. Bill Gates, his buddy. Wow. He just posted a creepy, weird-ass, bizarre video promoting his GMO corn, his genetically modified organism corn. Says it's going to save us from a famine during the climate crisis that we're in. Look, folks, if Bill Gates says yes to anything, I say no. I mean, do you believe Bill Gates? Do you think he's here to save us? A man who has said we need to reduce world population. A man who comes from a family that believes in euthanasia. That is, killing off unwanted humans. Unbelievable, folks. This guy is still out there and he's still being taken seriously. And that's the scary thing. So before the show, as I've gotten here, right, I've got a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, a lot of messages, a lot of texts, and I want to say thank you to everybody. Right before I came on, I got a call from Rudy, the urban aboriginal. Thank you, Rudy. I'm okay, folks. I made it to Florida in one piece. All is good. The hurricane doesn't hit full strength until, I think, 2 a.m. Thursday morning or late Wednesday night. I'm good for now. I really am. I'm good for now. But I want to play Let's Take a Wild Guess. That's right. Sponsored by the Jim Jones Juice. There's a woman. She went to a pharmacy, got herself some Jim Jones juice, and guess what? She wasn't sick before she went in. In fact, her daughter and other people who knew her said she was a picture of health. She gets the Jim Jones juice, and inside of 15 minutes, keeled over dead in the pharmacy. Whoa, the doctors they're puzzled as to what happened. They can't seem to solve the mystery. Unfreaking believable, folks. In front of God and the world. This wasn't another one of these, well, it took 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, it could be anything. Yeah, right. kind of like one of the first few nurses that took it, stood up to give an interview on camera, passed out on camera, national news, and reportedly, allegedly died, and we never saw her again on camera. She never came back out and said, well, I just passed out. You know how that shit happens. Nope. It probably happens a lot more than they let on. Now, people have gone to the pharmacy and said, hey, I'm interested in getting the Jim Jones juice. And the pharmacist go, oh, yeah. You can set an appointment with us and we'll take good care of you. And then the person undercover says, well, I heard someone in here got it and died the other day. And the pharmacist says, well, we're not going to talk about that. Why the hell not? Why wouldn't you talk about it? Folks, I don't trust doctors. I don't trust nurses. I don't trust pharmacists. I don't trust anybody who makes money off of pushing drugs. And you know, it's awful. It's awful. And folks, guess what? It's time once again to play Take a Wild Guess, sponsored again by the Jim Jones Juice. Funny, they seem to be the major sponsor of this. Well, police officer was conducting some SWAT team training. In order to be on the SWAT team, folks, the Special Weapons and Tactics Unit, you've got to be in good shape, good physical shape. You've got to have sharp mental faculties, right? You can't just pull your gun and shoot everybody you see. You have to stop shooting every now and then and ask some questions. Anyways, this guy's in pretty good shape. Guess what? He dies of a heart attack while doing some SWAT training. Wow, I wonder what caused that. I mean, do you care to take a wild guess? Jeez. Once again, doctors baffled. We can't seem to figure out what the hell is going on. I feel like I've had my ass kicked. I can barely raise my arms above my shoulders because I was working with a shovel. All right, folks. Now, you know how the media, the mainstream media, they love to report on violence. Radical right-wing people are out there, and we're going to talk about these left-wing people committing acts of violence, but you need to be worried about the radical right-wing violent people who never seem to do anything violent. You know, they're white supremacists and Nazis, and they're joined by black white supremacists and brown white supremacists and Asian white supremacists, and they're the threat. But as soon as we have something on them, we'll report on them. But for now, it's mostly peaceful protesting by those murderous, arsonist thugs over there that are Antifa and BLM. But don't worry about them, right? That's basically the mainstream media news when it comes to violence. They love it. They salivate. They get all drooly and shit. Well, they love it until it comes home to roost, folks. Oh, yeah. Guess what? A news anchor was killed in an attempted murder-suicide. Oh, my God. One of our own died. Many tears have been shed in our newsroom over this attempted murder-suicide. Yeah, when that violence comes home, all of a sudden, the news media is like, hey, you mean we can be killed? Yeah. Scary stuff. Now, I don't know if it was a love triangle or a failed love affair, but I'm pretty sure that all the participants were left-wing lunatics. And a news media person happened to get caught in the middle of it. Now, back to Bill Gates. He is calling his magical GMO stuff, right? He's shilling it. He's selling it on TV, right? Because his Bill Gates Foundation has been funding his magic seeds, folks. That's what the media decided to start calling it. You know, magic seeds. Bill Gates came out and did a video, and it's magic seeds. I thought that sounds a lot like magic beans, right? Where have we heard this story before? The smarmy, sneaky snake oil salesman bastard trades some magical beans for a cow. Dupes the kid, dupes the dupe into believing that magic beans exist. Now, we understand that it's a fable and it's a yarn spun to keep our interest and entertain us, but ultimately, didn't those magic beans lead to people being eaten by giants? How about this? How about regular people eaten by billionaires? Eaten up, swallowed, destroyed. Folks, if Bill Gates is promoting it, then death is certain to follow. Just like his pandemic solutions he's been offering. Whoo! Unbelievable, folks. Now I'm going to get to some really big stories here. And I just want to cut right through everything and get to it. I know that you guys probably have a lot of questions. I told Jolene, I told Uman, if there's a really good question, I'll get to it. But for the most part, I feel like I've had my ass kicked and drugged behind an M1 Abrams for about 5 miles. But I'm going to keep going as long as I can hold up and keep my eyes propped open. Now, an NBC panelist is mocking Lindsey Graham for proposing a 15-week national abortion ban. Right, saying, hey, after 15 weeks, you don't get to have one. That's what Lindsey Graham, light in the loafers, skinny jeans wearing. I like, I don't know. If you go to a bar with Lindsey Graham, he'll ask if he can push in your stool, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, this is what the NBC panelist mocks him and says, he's never seen a naked woman, as if we shouldn't listen to him because he's never seen a naked woman. I'm sure Lindsey Graham has probably seen a few naked women on TV. I'm pretty sure he knows what bumps go on what gender. Anyways, folks, now gays are being attacked by abortionists. Folks, the left wing is eating the left wing. They're eating their own. They are not only cannibals, folks, but they will eat their own and cannibalize their own. This is what's to be expected from moral, or rather immoral, corrupt people. This is what they do. They attack their own when there's no one else to attack, and they start picking on each other. It's incredible. I'm enjoying the hell out of watching these people destroy themselves. Now, I think as reported on my morning travels in the Zero Dark 30 episode, I described that the Republican Party is holding a massive lead, and turns out it's the largest lead running up to an election in over 30 years, folks. Our nation is in crisis. And the Build Back Better bungles, known as the Biden crew, they have failed. It is really nothing the GOP has done. Nothing the Republicans have done. It's just that Biden and the Democrats suck so badly that the Republicans are going to win back the House. For you and I, the concern is not taking back the House, but taking back the leadership from McCarthy and McConnell in the Senate and the House. We need to get rid of those two clowns. Oh, they can stay and vote all they want, but they need to be kicked out of the leadership positions. Do me a favor. Call your congressman, call your senator, email him, text him, tie a fucking note to a pigeon, tie it to a dolphin's tail. I don't care how you get it up to Washington, but let them know we want new leadership. New leadership. Now, folks, the mainstream media is silent on this. Absolutely silent. Would you believe, could you believe, is it possible that NATO and the United States and the European Union, at the behest of their World Economic Forum Illuminati masters, are continuing to threaten Russia with nuclear strikes, quietly, behind the scenes, hinting, intimating, letting them know, oh, we have nukes too, because Russia has now vowed full protection, quote, full protection for any territory of theirs as this nuclear threat grows. This is very much like two brothers in the back seat of a car antagonizing each other. And the parent in the front turns around and says, hey, you guys, knock that shit off back there. And then wants to pay attention to the wheel, right? Where are you and I going? We're living our lives. Every time we turn around, we see Russia and the U.S. fighting. But the U.S. will smack Russia and then go, hey, Dad, Russia's picking on me and I had to hit him, right? Every time the dad turns around, he only hears and sees what Russia's doing. Meanwhile, quietly, right, the kid in the back seat called USA, NATO, European Union is poking, teasing, spitting on, hitting Russia. And every time we turn around, all we get to see is what Russia is doing. Folks, I know better. I know better. Out of nowhere, out of the blue, Russia's just going to turn into a bunch of fucking idiots and start World War III? Or do you think they're being antagonized and screwed with and dicked with? Crazy. Now, we've had a lot of questions, and I want to thank Darcy T once again for bringing this question up. I think it was like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. She was like, what's the deal with DeSantis and Governor Abbott sending illegals up to Democrat cities? Is this helping? Is this going to fix anything? What's the point behind it? Well, the point behind it has now been made so well that most Americans, folks, that is to say, a majority of Americans believe that illegal immigrants should now be transported to sanctuary cities. See, most Americans have realized we're being invaded. DeSantis and Governor Abbott have brought it to everyone's attention. And we've also noticed as a people, as a nation, that Democrats are hypocrites, claiming they want sanctuary cities, but don't send illegals there. They want everyone else to foot the bill, to put up with all these illegals, folks, and it is close to 5 million of them. 5 million illegals in 2 years, folks, that Biden has let in, that we are having to pay for. And we're seeing the hypocrites in the Democrat Party and these blue blood, rich elitist bastards in their homes. They bust them out quick. So yeah, DeSantis and Abbott have had an effect. I'll call it the Abbott and DeSantis effect. Because now Americans want these illegals sent to sanctuary cities because that's what they pretend to be. So they may as well get to foot the bill so we can quit putting up with this shit. Crazy. Now, Jolene sent me this picture, right? It's a screenshot. And it's a poster that's being put up in California's public schools, right? And it says 10 reasons you should eat bugs. Number 1, lots of kids are eating bugs. Well, if lots of kids are jumping off a bridge, should you too? Number 2, you can educate others. Is that you? Wait, you should eat bugs because you can educate others? You can educate others without eating bugs. Continuing, number 3, they're tasty. Oh, really? Eating bugs is tasty? Number 4, bugs can't make us sick like meat can. Folks, there are proteins and compounds in insects that we cannot digest that are toxic to humans. I would beg to differ with this cute little cartoon sketch. Bugs can make us sick, will make us sick, and forget it. Number 5, they don't have to look like bugs. Oh, right, bugs don't have to look like bugs. You can grind them into powder, and then they look like something else. 10 reasons you should eat bugs. Number 6, they can keep us strong and healthy. Where is the scientific, long-term, proven evidence that kids eating bugs will make them healthy? Number 7, they're good for the environment. Eating bugs is good for the environment? I thought bugs did things like eat other bugs and pollinate and germinate plants. If we're eating all the bugs, how can they do their job? How is that good for the environment? Number 8, they can help end world hunger. Bugs can end world hunger. You know how to keep bugs or how bugs can stop world hunger? If they stop eating our fucking crops. Number 9, it's cool to try new things. 10 reasons why you should eat bugs. Number 9, it's cool to try new things. You know, like drag queen shows, gender transformation, chemicals and drugs and operations, getting nailed in the ass by a guy named Chip in the shower. It's cool to try new things. And number 10, they can help us stay fit and trim. That's right, folks. Bugs will keep you fit and trim. And that was forwarded from Michael Brown. Thank you, brother, for sending that in, man. That is fucking awesome. It's good to know that California is brainwashing their kids with yet one more pile of shit. Bunch of crap. Now, the AOC Jihad Squad held an event. And people came up to protest their event. People show up to participate. Well, guess what, folks? One of their people they don't like, one of AOC's people, AOC's people didn't like someone who showed up. So what did they do? They beat the ever-loving shit out of him. By the way, the person they beat the absolute shit out of was a Republican. That's right. They beat the hell out of a Republican for showing up at one of their parties. Pretty interesting, huh? Oh, by the way, he was also black. Oh, by the way, he was also gay. A black gay Republican was savagely beaten Saturday outside campaign headquarters of Representative Ayanna Pressley, Democrat, Massachusetts. Right? The victim was Sean Nelson. He was campaigning for a Republican named Donnie Palmer, right, who is Presley's opponent in the 7th Congressional District. Now, here is how Palmer, right, wrote it on social media. Right, it's how the Republican reported this. Sean Nelson, a conservative gay black man, was savagely beaten up today in Somerville. These thugs are supporters of Boston Mayor Michelle Wu and Presley. Folks, it is no longer a campaign, a battle of wits and ideas and philosophy. It is now violence from the left. And now, folks, I'm going to get to the real nasty shit. This is nasty. Guess what? Canada has removed all COVID border requirements for all travelers, including proof of vaccination, and it has suspended plane and train mask requirements. So, in Canada, where Trudeau had his Royal Canadian Mounted Police trample an old Native Canadian woman and trample and push others away, they stole their fuel, stole their wood, destroyed people's lives, took their bank accounts, put them out of business, confiscated their private property, threatened to take their real property. That's right, folks. That's Canada. That's Trudeau. What a piece of shit. It went from the deadliest disease ever and fuck your freedoms to, well, who cares? Come on back to Canada. We got maple syrup. Everything's fine now. Just like that, it's over. Oh, the media's like, well, because so many people have rolled up their sleeves and taken the Jim Jones juice that we can now open Canada. Folks, cerveza bug was never that deadly. The cure rate, the survival rate was 99.9992, leaving 0.0018 was the deadly number. And those people were going to die anyway, probably from the next sneeze or fart that they had. Right? There's always people ready to die. Oh my God, it was cerveza bug. No, dude, the dude was 106. Anyways, let us move on. This is a big deal. I talked about the new Italian prime minister or president, whatever they call him in Italy. Her name is Giorgia Meloni. That would make her the prima donna of Italy. And she came out, folks, and had something to say about the new world order. She knows who she is up against. Remember, she's a populist. In other words, she's there for the people of Italy. She's not there to kiss the ass of the World Economic Forum, right? She loves God, loves her family, and loves her country. And she had a couple things to say, folks. She did a 15-minute speech, and I'm going to give you a little bit about what she said. This is what she said. The new populist leader of Italy, the prima donna, Giorgia Meloni, or Meloni. She said, our main enemy today is the globalist drift of those who view identity in all its forms to be an evil to overcome and constantly ask to shift real power away from the people to supranational entities headed by supposedly enlightened elites. In other words, she's pointing to the World Economic Forum, international banking and global corporation cartels. She said, let us be clear in our mind because we did not fight against and defeat communism in order to replace it with a new international regime, but to permit independent nation states once again to defend the freedom, identity, and sovereignty of their peoples. Wow. Intelligently said, well spoken. She better be careful. There might be a bullet out there with her name in it. They're afraid of this woman, folks. She's populist because she's saying things that the people can understand and stand behind. Their freedom, their rights, their wealth, their lives, their country. The world doesn't belong to Davos, Switzerland. The world doesn't belong to the European Union or to NATO or to the United States super elitists, like Bill Gates. Or that other jackass, what's his name? Oh, yeah, George Soros. Woo-wee. Italy, it's going to get nasty, folks. And speaking of nasty, Joe Biden, folks, while hosting an Atlanta Braves game at the White House, and he had this to say, "Old pedo Hitler strikes again, folks. Quote, everybody under 15, come here. Come on, honey." Why would you take your kid to the White House to meet a beyond obvious, right, child groper at the very least? And this is a big one, folks. This is a big, giant what the fuck for today. The Oath Keepers, right? They're forced to go to trial, and they're facing a bunch of seditious conspiracy bullshit charges. And they're timing this, the Democrat prosecutors, 5 weeks before the midterms, in an effort to give Republicans, conservatives, patriots, and veterans a black eye. The government has denied discovery. That is to say, all the information that prosecution has to try and prove their case must be given to the defense. It's called discovery. They're denying it. Key witnesses for the defense? Fuck it, we can't let them be out. Arrest key witnesses. There's jury bias there, unethical judgment and judges in these kangaroo courts. Folks, you want to see how this story ends? Read the Declaration of Independence. They're making the case for another revolution. Now, speaking of something that's revolting, they're scaring the people in Ukraine as much as they can. They're now distributing, folks, iodine tablets because they're really threatening people there with nuclear war and the fear of a nuclear explosion. And I'll ask you, do you have iodide tablets? Potassium iodide. You can buy those tablets online. Doesn't require a prescription. They're safe and effective in case of nuclear war. They'll prevent you from getting radioactive cesium inside your thyroid gland. All right, folks. And I'm going to end my segment here with what's going on. The Democrats are so scummy, scuzzy, corrupt, evil, and demonic. They're so bad that Christians have united with Jews and have united with Muslims, folks, in Dearborn, Michigan, to demand the removal of pathetic, grooming, disgusting, sexualized books containing pornographic elements in public school libraries. You know the Democrats have really gone over the edge when Christians, Jews, and Muslims all agree on the same thing. That, folks, is an indictment of the left. When every religion that is in an area agrees that these people are a bunch of evil bastards, that's saying something. It's saying a lot. Okay, Jolene, I have no idea how many good, great, superior questions we have, but my ass is grass. It's tired. So let's get to the ones we have. Man, you had something there. He says, how thick of chains do you recommend are you and Chris going to use to chain yourselves to the bar on the beach? Hey, man, you're not supposed to tell anyone that I'm going to try and spend some time with Chris at the beach. I tell you what. I recommend a sturdy 3/8 chain link, hardened, case hardened. At, I think what's the standard for chain? 400. Anyways, yeah. I would like to be at the beach when this son of a bitchin' hurricane hits. If you guys would like to see that, give me a thumbs up, and I'll do everything I can to be there. I mean, if Jim Cantori can do it, I can do it. Already today, I proved that I can do a lot more than people half my age who claim to be twice the man I am when they are not. So standing at the beach facing some 100-mile-an-hour plus winds, I might do that. But only if you guys really want me to. Bonnie Blue says, stay out there, Florida, Prepared Mind family. We're going to stay safe, Bonnie. I mean, in all truth, I'm not going to do anything stupid. But I might take a dare or two and go have a beer. Now, to let you know, folks, if they'll shut the beach down, they'll shut down everything up and down the Florida coast as this hurricane comes on board. I won't be able to get a beer unless you can't even bring your own beer on the beach here. Apparently, it's it's against the law to put alcohol on the beach. And I thought, well, hell, in California, well, maybe it was illegal there too, but you're allowed to have alcohol on the beach. The two just seem to go together. There we are. There we have it. Do we have any questiones? We got Cottage Farm, and thank you again for your always appreciated assistance and then great questions as well. She says, I wonder, was that the goal of propping up evil, perverse sexualizing of children crap? To unite all the religions for the coming one world religion? I do not believe that to be true, Cottage Farm. I think that the goal of the evil, perverse sexualization of children was to provide sexual toys for the voracious, perverted sexual appetites of these left-wing, socialist, fascist, communist scum. And they're creating their own religion, if you will. And it won't unite Muslims and Jews and Christians any more than just to oppose such a thing. But I can't see the religions uniting to face this. If we could, let's put that question back up there, because it really is relevant and important, especially based on that last story I read. Becoming one world religion, in my opinion, Cottage Farm, and I've been studying this since the early 90s. The one world religion is it's a secularized religion worshiping the state as the all-powerful entity that we must work for and worship, obey, and if we don't, we get visited with hell on earth, right, in this life. They want to supplant. They want to depose the Almighty as God and install themselves. You see, when you are a god or demigod, if you will, and you are on earth and you're seated on a throne, everything you say becomes law or a commandment. And the God can do no wrong because he makes the rules, right? That's the deal with God. God makes the rules and everyone else has to play by them. So if you make government your God, and the person who sits on the throne is the head of that government, very much like the Romans believed that the Caesar was God. The emperor was God incarnate. And while he was alive, he expressed the will of the deity, right? And so all must obey the Caesar. That's why they had such perverted scumbags, right? Not just Hadrian, who was a rampant homosexual, but people like Nero, and who was that other guy? I'm so tired. The one who married his horse, screwed his sister, and cut the baby out of her womb. What the hell was that guy's name? He was they were absolute rotten to the core, Caesars. And what are you going to do? They're God, right? And that's what we have with this Democrat thing, is they can do nothing wrong. Chop off children's genitals, no problem. Use kids as sex toys, no problem. Kill their political enemies, no problem. Confuse our language, change the words and the meanings of them so that nothing makes any sense anymore. You have to obey them, or what? Have your bank account destroyed, have your life destroyed, take your house, take your car, not allow you to buy or sell unless you take their mark. There it is. Take their mark. Take their word into your mind, right? Your forehead, right? Where you think. Take their mark. Obey them, or you won't be able to live your life. That's worshiping the beast, folks. And if there ever was a filthy, abominable beast, it would be a Democrat, socialist, fascist, communist styled world government that claims for itself godhood and demands 100% obedience or death will follow. That's the coming one world religion, where God becomes, where they become the gods, and everything they say is pronounced as right. And you cannot argue, cannot criticize. There is no free speech. There is only obedience or death. That's the one world religion. And you'll worship it, or they will kill you. Whew. That's what I see coming, Cottage Farm. If the political scumbags that we're talking about, the World Economic Forum and the Democrats, The socialists around the world, whether they're fascist or communist or a combination, their job, folks, right now is to create this one world religion, one world government, one world system that's unified behind their political power. And they'll convince you, if you don't do as they say, well, then you are killing the earth, right? It's kind of like Gaia worship, worshiping the earth, environmentalism, and the emperor can do no wrong. And so you must obey the emperor, that is, whoever the world leader is. I think I've touched on that enough for the time being. And then we got doing stuff with Nikki. And thank you, Nikki. It was Caligula who married his horse and cut his sister's and his own baby out of his sister's womb, and any other number of absolutely awful abominations, including, I think, feeding Christians to lions, feeding lions to Christians, and every other thing, anything abominable under the sun. These rotten emperors of Rome did. Now, get this. Rome, folks, didn't fall in a day. Rome burned, but Rome as an empire took well over 100 years to be destroyed. We now are witnessing the fall of the empires that run the world right now. And the more they fall, the more they become corrupt. And the more that corruption causes more of the fall or the failure. Fall, fail, fall. Right? That's what is happening. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Ooman. And thank you, Cottage Farm. I am signing off for now. I'll see you 0:30 in the morning as I prepare for Hurricane Ian to come smash into Florida. Stay tuned. I'm going to try and also do live out in the weather updates for you guys. Whew. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan all together? Natural weather events, man-made political chaos, shit hitting the fan. Semper Fi, Godspeed.